Welcome back. Once again, we welcome you to Adobe Presents vdonxt Asia, powered by View. We would like to thank all our sponsors for extending their support. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank our technology partner, Akamai, knowledge partner, EY, video partner, Unruly, collaboration partner, Dropbox Business, entertainment partner, WebTalkies, new age digital partner, 101 India, content partner, Culture Machine. We would also like to acknowledge the support of our streaming partners, 24 Frames Digital, blogging partner, blogadda.com, TV partner, NDTV Prime, international partner, Content Asia, and our community partners, Advertising Agencies Association of India, and the Advertising Club for their support in making this convention possible. Without any further delay, once again, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Shrikant Khandekar to brief us about the next two sessions that we have ahead of us. And could we please welcome Mr. Khandekar with a huge round of applause.
Listen, it must be getting harder to applaud Mr. Khandekar on stage for the third time on the same day. So I forgive you. Okay. Okay. We are all in this room because we believe in digital video. That's self-evident, okay? But how many of us would bet a lot of money? I mean, a lot of money, as in crores of rupees, which is not somebody else's, okay? It's your own, all right? On a single video and run it online, only online, for nearly a month. So the next session, which is programmed to wake you out of your slumber, presents an entrepreneur who took that bet. He runs a mid-sized company. And we also have to applaud the creative person who, A, thought of the idea, and even more, B, sold that idea. Okay? As you all know in the game, that's really tough. So that's the first session we'll see now. And the one after that, the next session is really, it's a conversation about scale, you know, that digital video is very exciting and media thinks people on the media publishing side or content creators think it's the next big thing. But from a marketer's point of view, does it really have the kind of scale that would excite a marketer such as an FMCG marketer? Okay, that is the second session. So these are the next two sessions. That's my introduction, and over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. We move on to our next session, which is Big Risk, Big Reward. Why a medium-sized company plays big money on a single Bollywood-style video and then ran it only for a single 1 month. For this, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Ajay Gupta, MD of Capital Foods, and Mr. Ashish Patil, Business and Creative Head, VP of Y Films, Brand Partnership Talent Management at the Yashraj Films. Ms. Ashwini Gangal, Executive Editor of A-Facts, would moderate the session. Could we please welcome them with a huge round of applause?
Thank you. Thank you for that. Hi, everyone. Welcome back and welcome to this session. Now, the subject of discussion today is this crazy 5.5-minute long ad or video, call it whatever you want, that was released on YouTube and run on YouTube only for a whole month before it went onto television in its TVC avatar. So it premiered on TV in that period, right? But not as a TVC. So we're going with that, right? Now, this is a very risky thing for a food and beverage, for a food brand to do, because, I'll tell you why risky, because it's all too easy for a food brand to make a 30-seconder with mummy cooking Desi Chinese. We're talking about Ranveer Singh, by the way, so it's Desi Chinese. And hungry kids lapping it up very happily, right? And everybody's happy and everyone buys the product and it works, right? But that's the conventional thing to do. Now, Ajay, the client here, took a risk by giving this crazy creative suit over here from Yash Raj an agency brief and allowed him to crack it in his unconventional manner. So I really wish I could show you the entire 5-minute video. But in the interest of time, I'm going to request the team to play the 1-minute trailer, please. So, thank you. Now, you have your placards with you, right? I'm going to ask you before we begin, how many of you have seen the 5-minute video? That was the trailer, just 1 minute long. Green for yes. Oh, okay. So 50-50, 50%. Okay, great. So before I ask you targeted questions individually, I would like opening remarks from the both of you, one by one. We'll start with you, Ajay. You have about 5 minutes to tell us about this film and how it was born and why you decided to do a Bollywood-style video.
Okay, so first, I'm the guy who made, we got a trailer made and there is no food in it. Yeah, so I'm stupid.
That's right. There's food in the
So I'm
final
stupid.
video, but not in the trailer.
This was not really, I didn't wake up on the other side of the bed one day and said, Ashish, let's make some great content. So this was not content marketing for one, because I keep hearing this word, let's do content marketing. This was not content marketing. It was a clear-cut, thought-out strategy. It was, we had challenges with the brand, and in this we found a solution. Where does it begin from? We at Capital Foods believe there are two religions in this country, cricket and Bollywood. Bollywood to us is much larger, more massy, goes across the world with Indian diaspora than cricket does. So that was our first choice. 2013, 2013 we signed a mad, call him an ambassador, but no more the one which is Ranveer. The brand actually had values exactly like what Ranveer had. And please note, this is pre-Ranveer Singh becoming who he is today as a large star. We went up to Ashish at that point and we created a song. Again, we were called stupid even then. We created a song called My Name is Ranveer Singh. Very interesting things happened with that one song. For the next 2 years, people kept asking us, picture kab aa rahi hai? So picture aani thi. One shot, Ranveer became Ranveer Singh. The kind of Twitter numbers we got on that, it was a song that was played across the world by every Indian channel for free. So you had a song, a jingle of a brand playing for free on television across the world. We have close to some 8 million what's the word, man? Downloads on ringtones, and out of which 1 million are still being ringtones, paid ringtones of the songs that still exist 3 years down the line. When we looked at doing this film, we had challenges with us. One was we had created a challenge. We had gone across the challenge of creating a buzz on the brand Chings. So that was the first phase. Let's put the brand name in the consumer's mind one shot. Having done that, now we wanted to establish Desi Chinese. One. B, we were looking at increasing our width of distribution. We bought in and go mass with it. So if you want to go mass in this country, you go to one man, Rohit Shetty. So that's where a Rohit Shetty happened to us. get a blockbuster, go to Rohit Shetty. We were also looking at increasing the width of our distribution down south. So we got a heroine has to be there in the movie. So we got called the Milky Queen of the South. We got Tamanna Bhatia to come in, and she's the one who now. So there is a model who comes in who is part of the strategy of increasing width of distribution. So that's really how we began this journey of saying we will make a film. I'll leave the rest to...
Thank you for that. So Ashish, give us your opening remarks as the guy who cracked this brief.
Sure. You know, again, I think rear view vision is always 2020. And when you look back, think, "Arey, badi sahi strategy." I don't think that's always how you set out to go about things. But pretty much, I think, like Ajay mentioned, it's not just a bunch of creative guys sitting and just jerking off and saying, "Chalo, masti karte hain, client paise de raha hai, udate hain." It was a fairly well thought through strategy, and I think given the theme of our session of big risk, big return, I think the risk at that stage was at multiple levels beyond just the content or the kind of communication that we were making, even in terms of the choice of brand ambassador at that stage. Pretty much like Ajay mentioned, this is Ranveer Singh pre-Baji Rao, pre-Ram Leela, pre all of those things. He'd just come on the back of a film which had not done so well called Lutera. I'm not sure how many of you have seen that with the red card or the green card.
Yeah, they can tell you right away.
Oh, there's 2 people. Fantastic. I'll tell Ranveer. He'll be thrilled.
5.
Okay. So that had happened, and he had just about done one brand, and just the way Ching's was at a particular life cycle in its in its brand life cycle, so was Ranveer. For whatever reasons, it was decided, and I had taken over only after that Ranveer ko endorsements mein kholenge nahi. So the traditional route for launching a young Bollywood star would be go to a cola, go to a cool apparel, sneaker, etc. And that had not happened. And I needed to break in really sharply. So we opened with the most outrageous, and I'm going a little off topic, with Durex, with a condom brand. That's the only celebrity who's ever done a condom brand. Now with condoms, suddenly most brands will be like, "Arey yaar, ye to bhai, matlab, I'm talking to young housewives. Should we really be doing that?" So it's also a risk at that stage.
Right.
And we also realized, I think the category was just buried under the tropes of bhook lagi hai,
Right.
chalo ye lo khana khao. And across the category, switch the colors of green, yellow, or whatever else across brands, you'll find the same trope or the same arc, which was a bit of a cliche. So we decided to break a bunch of rules with that, and it's not like a lot of people have not done a song and dance routine. I think shitloads of people have done that. I think all the pieces just came together, and the brief was very sharp. That was the best part of the discussion. That it wasn't like ye bhi karna hai, wo bhi karna hai, flavor batao, price batao, etc. The task was very simple. The task was, I just need to create awareness. I'm a challenger brand. Ranveer is also a challenger brand. I need to make Ching loud, scream out there. So Sing is Ching happened, essentially. My name is Ranveer, Ching happened, and it just completely exploded well beyond our imaginations.
Right.
Pretty much the graph accordingly progressed, and there's a really interesting line which I heard, and Shrikant mentioned a short while back, "Yaar, bahut paisa kharcha kiya hai," etc. And that's the best part, that it feels like bahut paisa kharcha kiya. I don't think so. Okay. There's this lovely line I'd heard, I forget who, I think the Macy's founder had mentioned that there's 50% of my advertising which is wasted. The problem is I don't know which 50%.
That's right.
And that's really the smart thing that we did, that typically the ratio would have been 80% going into media, 20% going into production. We switched it. So there's 80% which went into production, and it's not an expensive ad. It looks expensive as fuck, I'm sorry, but it looks like that. And there's a lot of people who spend that kind of money, but it just doesn't show. The minute you spend this kind of money here, you've got Ranveer Singh, you've got this crazy ass stunts, you've got Rohit Shetty, and there's a reason for that. So it's not just Tamanna Bhatia, of course. I mean, how can you not pick someone who's called Milky Queen of the South? Go figure. So we had to cast her, and there was a strategic reason for that as well, if South is a priority. So which is why I think that was a very well thought through strategy, not really a risk. In hindsight, people think, "Arey, yaar, to bahut bada hai, sirf digital pe hai." It'll be more expensive to run a 5.5-minute commercial on TV than it would be to really produce it. So which is why that became the original home to put that out, and then it just completely took on a whole new life of its own.
Right.
And the communication moved from just awareness of Chings, where I think Ajay and team were moving to a cuisine block of owning Desi Chinese, because no one really had that. There were various people, and I see advertising of people going after Chinese noodles and all of that with women dressed as geishas, and that's not even Chinese. So I don't get that. But so there were a lot of people doing that, and we broke a lot of rules, which was great, because we didn't know the rules to begin with. And Ajay is someone who kind of pushes you to do that. Ke yaar, sabse pehle let's do what is sacrilege. Maa ka gala ghot dete hain. So here is a food and beverage advertising where we've killed the mom.
Okay.
You know, so and there was no mom in this advertising. If at all, now we've introduced a mom in the new Ranveer Singh campaign in
There
the
is a
form
mom.
of marching.
Marching, yeah.
But now that it's done in a take that only a Chings can do,
Yeah.
in a tonality which Chings is known for, of
Right.
screwing around and becoming young and cool, and the
Right.
kind of earned media that I think both these campaigns have got, and there's been a couple of bridge campaigns in the middle that we've done,
Okay.
have been fantastic, and I think the returns beyond just the 1,000 views and recognition and lists and all of that apart, I think are really in the business, which I think Ajay will probably better place to react to.
Okay,
Just to
thanks.
take a little second here. So we moved from a 180 crore business. This year March we'll close at 600 crores. A.
Yeah.
B, we moved from 70,000 stores in 2013.
Right.
Last year we were at 245,000 stores. By August we believe we'll be at 4 lakh stores in the country.
Right.
Add to this, there's a huge advantage that we got out of this film is the NRI consumers.
Oh,
In North America,
Okay.
in the US, there is no Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi store that does not carry Chings.
Okay.
And that's one market. Chings instant noodle is bigger than a lot of Indian brands.
Okay.
Distribution is much easier in that market. And that's something that we've been able to build with one film.
Right. Yeah. Great. Now, since he brought up the condom ad, I have to ask you, since we're speaking about risks and, those risks paying off, was that a deterrent for you initially at some level, and then did you have to overcome that? Because A-listers, don't do condom brands, and now that they've done it, you don't take them for a food brand. So, a risk all through or not really?
So, not really,
Okay.
because as a brand, we very clearly from the beginning talking to the youth.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you talk to the youth, is this a taboo? It's not. If you're talking to the mother and small children, yes, it is.
Okay.
Though we did have a problem the first time when we told our investors, this is the star and this is what he's done.
Yeah, exactly. That was the only example, because he hadn't
done anything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
And they did say, are you serious?
Exactly,
But we
yeah.
did convince them finally. So,
Right.
not really, there wasn't a challenge.
Okay.
beyond
I
that.
think it was
And-
bulldozed them. I think it's so.
Yeah. Now, Ashish, you have a very long, very fancy designation, okay? It took me half an hour just to read it on your LinkedIn page. But to me, you're the guy who can make Unilever executives fall off their chairs with your scandalous ideas, right? So,
That doesn't take too much. Amin will bear
Any
testimony
Unilever
to
people
that.
in the audience?
So Amin is here.
Well, he's...
Right, okay.
Yeah, thank God. Okay, great. So, my question to you, Ashish, is that did you have to rein it in at some point? Because at the end of the day, you are working on a Desi Chinese brand. You have to move the products off the shelf.
Sure.
So, did you have to rein something in and
Actually-
harness something?
Well, I
while
had to actually
cracking
rein
the
him
brief?
in. So
Okay.
here was a client who was saying, "Nahi, yaar brand mat dal. Arey nahi, yaar product mat dikha. Arey nahi, yaar chalega nahi." And I'm like, so me and Shah, this is the first campaign. We're like,
Right.
really? Are you sure you want to do this, even in your cut downs, etc.?
Right.
But he was fairly clear. His brief was so clear. The expected take on that was so sharp. So I don't think so. We actually had to rein him in at some stage, saying, "Nahi, sir, isko thoda to hardworking banana padega." When you're doing the cut downs, your music won't play out on channels if you have product windows in that.
Okay.
So let's leave the music video untouched. But when you're
Yeah.
doing your cut downs, we'll probably need to make it work harder.
Okay.
So I think the reining in actually was required at this end.
Okay.
And I think, like I said, I think the intent is never really to just shock for the heck of it or
Right.
scandalize Unilever, and it's a blast to work with him and the group and team,
course,
because
yeah.
they keep you rooted, they keep you sensible, and when you cut through that,
Yeah.
you usually arrive at a kind of better product.
Yeah.
Because it's not just us screwing around or having fun. Ye picture nahi bana raha hu main. You're doing this as an advertising communication piece.
But even
That's
so,
a very clear goal.
there's always a firewall that you tend to face while working with the client, right? So over here, was there a firewall for you to overcome? and
No,
to
like I
take
said,
that risk?
I don't think so, because I think the team is also, fortunately, the team that we work with is
Okay.
fairly sorted in terms of how to do that, and actually the firewall that we had to kind of place was in front of him.
Other way around.
Sir, ye kya kar rahe ho? Calm down.
Right.
So he's right to a point when,
Sure.
you land in Ramoji's studio.
Right.
And there is this huge shoot that is to happen. Do I know what Ranveer looks like? Sorry, I come from a background of advertising myself, 15 years back. So what is it that the star will wear? What dialogues? What color palettes? I know nothing. Everything is in Rohit Shetty and his head.
Right.
So that's really where at times when people tell us, hey, you've done a great thing. So my answer is, these guys did it. I just had iron balls to pay for it. Okay, to point, because you go there on a set and you really don't know what's happening.
Right.
A, B, everybody sets out to make a blockbuster Bollywood film. They are not, all of them are not successful.
Yeah. Now I have to ask, since we brought up the whole thing of cooking, the Desi Chinese part earlier, the trailer doesn't have any product demo, quote unquote, but the final 5.5 minute long film, not product demo, but it does have a lot of food shots. Now whose idea was that? Because it's very blatant, and that kind of reality returns for those few seconds, and then again you're back in the second dance segment.
It's been designed very smartly actually,
Yeah.
because it's not as a product window. कि मेरे काले घने बालों का राज suddenly boom, this shampoo. It's not been designed like that.
Okay.
If you see the premise of the film, the premise, it's set in a dystopian future where food is a problem.
Correct.
So here is a guy who comes to save you and makes food using chings. So obviously the food is integral to the narrative this time round. The graph was very different. Campaign 1 was awareness. Campaign 2 was cuisine block. Desi Chinese equals chings.
Okay.
So it was very integral and it had to become part of the narrative, and which is what I think very smartly designed versus suddenly you're out of it saying ये क्या हो गया? इसमें कीटाणु और जीवाणु कहाँ से आ गए? तो वो नहीं था.
Yeah. So, but was that still all you saying ये दिखाओ, show that manchao being made? Again, it's not a TVC, but that part was very TVC type.
Actually, when the first time, so the brief was there. Yes, this time around, the story the way it was, there would be food there. But frankly, the first time both of us saw the film in Rohit Shetty's office, we were shocked with the amount of food he had put in. Yeah, so this was a director who had actually believed in the story that he was narrating, and he had put a lot of food in, which I had to remove from the film. Yeah, we actually removed from the film. Because finally when it comes to a brand, I believe the message has to go through. How much food you show, is that going to be, I have heard briefs saying, itna second opening hoega, itna mid hoega, itna product window hoga. Does it really work? Especially in this whole new age situation where he uses this word, what's that? The goldfish and what seconds.
Attention.
So where is this? How much time? So can I just take the message through? And that really was what was critical to us. Can this one communication put Desi Chinese as a name to the cuisine that we all love across the country? So
great. Okay. We have just enough time for audience questions, the placard type. But before I ask my questions, I want to ask you, how many of you believe Ajay when he says he took the product shots out of his own film? Usually it's the other way around, clients insert more product shots. Do you believe him? Yeah? Okay, they believe you. I also believe you.
Not bad. Thank you, yeah.
No, I mean, it's hard to believe, right? You said Nikalo, don't put so much food in.
When the first film was made, the first song that was done, the first song was done, Shad kept saying, Dalo, and I said, but agar humne food shots dal diye isme, people, there was this whole thing about saying, let this go through as a song for a movie that's going to come.
Right.
Now, if you start getting blatant, then I will have a key and car. Sorry, neither a film nor an ad. So, didn't want to go there.
And Ajay's got a brand placement in the film, by the way, just so you guys know. So, and I've got one of my actors placed in the film, Arjun. So.
Great. So
we made a film which had a little bit of ad. We didn't make ad films and put a story around.
That's as blatant as can get, Ashwini, frankly. I mean, it's called Ranveer Singh Returns. It's mine in a Ranveer Singh. Abhi aur kya? It's mere dad ki Maruti. Abhi aur kya?
Last name, Great. Okay, so the question is it a risk? Do you consider it a risk if a brand puts an ad on YouTube for a month before the TVC version of that ad goes on television? Is it a risk to do what he did? Do you think it's a risk? Okay, so 60-40? Right, 64, yes, it's a risk. Okay. And there's one question though, I want to know, it's a matter of semantics, but I'm curious. If a brand video is 5.5 minutes long, do you still call it an ad? Yes or no? Yeah. Would you still call it an ad if it's a 5.5-minute long brand film? No. So you don't call it an ad. It's not an ad.
We
Right.
didn't call it an ad actually. We
Yeah.
said we were making
Rohit Shetty
a Rohit Shetty
Rohit Shetty
Bollywood
movie.
film.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Third question, does Ranveer Singh rock? Yes. 90% yes. Okay. Chalo, good. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, we're done. We're out of time. And out of questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for such an interesting session, and may I request Ms. Ashwini to kindly do the honors and present the token of appreciation. Thank you so much. Thank you.